Which Fire Emblem game is the best one to play during class? Which is the one that you can play during class, still pay attention to class, but also still have a good time? Well, I'm here to find that out today, and I really hope your opinion matches with mine, or you're wrong. So before we get started, there's a couple things we're going to do. Number one, the ones that don't count are the online ones and anything that has a remake of it, because honestly, it's not worth to play that one. And you can fight me on that. So this never finished is going to become not applicable. We're making V tier. Saves are already built in. And that's where Shadow Dragon goes in. Because Shadow Dragon, you get through parts of the map, and each map has around 2 save points. And these save points allow you to just kind of be like, okay, you know what, it's time for me to take a break. I have to pay attention to class now. But it's not going to hinder your judgment too much, as well as not hinder your gameplay. Because Shadow Dragon's also not the most challenging one, so it's not going to take too much of your brain power. Alright, then we move on to Echoes. So Echoes is a personal favorite of mine, and because a lot of the maps are not super long, there are different skirmishes that happen that are all really quick. It makes it really easy to pick up, put down, and go do something else. The only thing that would be hard for you to go in and out of would be the dungeon sequences. Easy to pick up and put down. And then we have New Mystery the Emblem, which goes in the same category as Shadow Dragon just because it's pretty much the same game continued. However, then we get to Fire Emblem 4. It's really good to play in class if you just want to traverse the map during your 1-hour lecture, because it will take you 1 hour to cross the map in Fire Emblem 4. It will take you a whole class to cross the map category. So next we have Thracia 776. And if you're not familiar with Thracia 776, you're probably better off not being familiar with it. But if you are familiar with it, it has some of the most intricate designs in terms of combat, which can be really cool. However, it's going to take you a ton of thinking, a ton of mapping stuff out. Fog of War is actually just completely black, so you won't know. You'll have to be looking at a guide at the same time. You'll have to be on Fire Emblem Wood, and you'll be like, where am I going, where am I going? And it'll just take too much brain power for you to actually be able to do it and pay attention to what's happening in class. So it goes in the category of too much thinking. Next, we have Fire Emblem 6, The Binding Blade. So this is Roy's second game, considering he was in Smash Bros. First. But how does it measure up? Because in my opinion, the game requires too much thinking. And this is because of all of the ambush units that just show up all the time. This game is filled with them. A lot of the time there's no warning, they just appear. It's going to cause you so much stress that during class you're going to be so distracted because, oh no, 16 Pegasus Knights just appeared right next to my healer. And you'll be too stressed. And that's just how it is.
Uh-oh. 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 Let's see if someone else... Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
But yeah, that is why. Fire Emblem 7, one of the universally not hated ones in the series. Unless you're playing Hector hard mode, and even then, you're probably not going to have too much trouble with this game. So I'd say it's pretty easy to pick up, put down, especially if you're on your computer at school, you have save states just to kind of stop if you need to. You're going to be just fine, easy to pick up and put down. Then we have Fire Emblem 8, one of, if not the most easy game in the series. And this game itself fits in the same category as FE7. The Sacred Stones are easy to pick up and put down. It's funny how the GBA games go from, you have to think a lot, to, never mind, we're easy to pick up and put down. And now we're going to add a new category. And this one is currently, it would be okay. It would be inoffensive. You could pick up, put down. It depends on what map you're on for if this is going to be stressful and matter or not. And that's where Path of Radiance comes in. So for Path of Radiance, it's a whole bunch of different mechanics that flow. So if you care about biorhythm and you want to make sure that works, it's going to take up more of your brain power. If you care about the Lagoos and you're using them because of the little time limit on their forms, it's going to matter a little bit. So it's not going to be the easiest to pick up and put down, but for the most part, the rest of it is perfectly fine. It's one of those games where you just throw out a dude and then you walk away during enemy phase. And then we have Radiant Dawn. Now let me tell you, Radiant Dawn's gonna have its own special category. I've timed how long enemy phase takes in the later games, so it goes in the, you can have a whole class during enemy phase. I've had on map, it's the snow map, it took enemy phase 18 minutes to calculate and actually go through. I had animations on, yes, but it took 18 minutes. Enemy phases in Radiant Dawn take so long, it makes it the perfect game to just have it go in and out of, okay, I set up all my dudes, I'm gonna now pay attention to class. You open it up, it'll show you if someone died, because you'd be like, oh, that's the death screen, and then you reset. Or it's that death screen, you hit OK, and then it goes for the rest of enemy phase. And then, for Awakening, let's create a new category, shall we? You can literally just auto battle. And I say this from experience because I have actually beaten the game twice with only using auto battle. And if you don't believe me, on the playlists on my channel, there is Effie Awakening Auto Battle. And there is this playlist of me and my friends going through and beating the game on auto battle. And not only that, there's going to be a video coming out soon where I did it a second time on stream recently. So that goes in the you can literally just auto battle it category. Then we have the Fates games, which are going to all go into 3 separate categories. So we have Birthright, the easiest one of the game. One you can just hit auto battle, except for a couple times when you have to go seize, because the game will not do that for you. And while I have tried to auto battle it before, it only failed because on the Garen map, auto battle just goes for Garen. So you really only have to play one map in the entire game if you want to just complete it on auto battle. So just keep that in mind. And then we have Conquest. Conquest is one of those games where it's easy to pick up and put down, but it's going to be a little harder than your average Fire Emblem. So, in my opinion, because of the Fate system and how you don't have to worry about weapon uses, and a lot of it is, okay, what can I do? What are my skills? How am I going to actually apply my units? It goes in the not as bad as FE6, because FE6 has ambush spawns out the wazoo, whereas this game is very telegraphed. If you're paying attention, you know what to do, as well as it has some of the best map design in the series. It goes in the, it would be okay. It would be okay to play during class. Not the best, because of how much you do have to think, but it's not nearly as bad as some of the other egregious ones. Speaking of egregious ones, we have Fire Emblem Fates Revelation. So it's going to go into a category of too much thinking. And you might be wondering why. Because it is easier than Conquest, not as easy as Birthright, but a lot of the maps have special mechanics. And by special mechanics, I mean very different objectives. Ones where it's not like, hey, just go kill this dude. It's, hey, you need to go into these 4 houses. You need to make sure this person talks to this person. You need to make sure... It's a lot of very specific things that it decides to do, which can get a little much if you're especially not aware of them coming. And I think it goes into too much thinking because it's not just unga bunga, I know what I'm doing. Have you come to comment on Fire Emblem? Which one do you think is the... No. Tell the people. Which one is the best one to play in class? You lick. Alright, fair enough. So next we're going to talk about the Warriors games. And the Warriors games are going to go in their own specific category because you just mash A. That is what you do in those games. You just mash the A button. And you cannot convince me otherwise. Have you played a Warriors game? Do you know what they're like? Have you played Hyrule Warriors? All you do is mash the A button and occasionally hit X to do a super move. That's what they are. And let me tell you, just mashing a button would distract me from class because I can't do anything or write any notes in class. So you know what? It goes in the you're mashing A too much. So we're going to put both of them in there. And then we have Fire Emblem Three Houses, the best-selling game in the entire franchise. And I took the best-selling game in the entire franchise and recently put it through my auto battle to come out on top. Meaning I use auto battle through the entire game, And I can definitively prove with evidence, it goes in the you can literally just auto battle it. And now we're going to talk about Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, which if you don't know, is actually Shin Megami Tensei, but with the weapon triangle. So the thing about this game though is it involves reading. And it goes in here because there's a dating mechanic, it requires reading, you actually have to read to know where to go, whereas in normal Fire Emblem, it's kind of like, okay, I can just hit start through the cutscenes and I can generally tell what's going on. Not the case with this game. And on top of that, if you have to read during class, well, are you really going to be paying attention to class? Are you really going to be paying attention to class? Yeah, you Timmy in the back, are you paying attention? Because I don't think Timmy is, but Tommy might. And then we have the most recent entry in the franchise, Fire Emblem Engage, which warm and dear to my heart. Definitely not because it is my most successful video on YouTube. Definitely not. But this game, the story doesn't matter too much. Everything's pretty easy to pick up, put down. There's turn back time if you want to just be like, okay, I did something wrong or something happened during class and I want to go back. But here's the thing. You can also auto battle this one. So I can't just give it to the easy to pick up and put down one when you can auto battle it. And it's just that easy. Now, if you're playing on a harder difficulty, that's different. But on normal, you can just auto battle it. And here we have the entire list of which Fire Emblem game is the easiest to play in class. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I messed up? Do you think Thracia 776 is the easiest game in the series? Well, let me know below and I will comment back. Anything you disagree with me on, I will have a conversation with you in the comments. And if you want to talk about it, hit me up there. Thanks for watching.